And then click the live stream. Yes, perfect.
Preparing to stream live.
Okay, I think please, Alison, it's ready.
Okay, now you're live. Okay, we're live.
Please, can you hear us? Alison, listen,
Are you
Alison.
ready?
Yeah,
Ready?
we're on live now.
Okay, let's go right now. Greetings, peace wavers everywhere, and welcome to the second of 24 hours of video, music, and reporting from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and from Australia. We are on the shores of the Pacific Ocean, the ocean of peace. And I'm Alison Branoski, and I'm a board member of World Beyond War in Sydney. And with me is Liz Well, who is the Vice President of World Beyond War from New Zealand, and she's in Sydney with us, and she'll be mainly our MC today, introducing a terrific hour, we hope, of all sorts of things: video, talk, music, action, and we hope inspiring peace messages. We'd like to begin by introducing Reverend Raymond Minicom, the pastor of St. James Church here in Glebe, to offer the traditional welcome to country. Thank you, Ray.
Jean, could you make the SCAR 3 Indigenous Ministries as co-host?
Okay, okay.
I think Reverend Ray will be coming in a
All right.
second. Yeah. So I think Reverend
Yeah,
Ray.
that's it. I can now speak.
Perfect. We can hear you loud and clear. If you can turn on your camera. Oh,
Yeah, even turn on my. I've been muted, so I've just got hold of yours. Let me be very quick, and then you can get on with your meeting. Can you hear me?
we can hear you perfectly. Yes.
Okay. Well, look, let's acknowledge the the traditional custodians on the land on which we gather today. For me, I'm here on Gadigal people, the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I just want to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. First Nations peoples speak to country, listen to country, sing up country, dance up country, understand country, and long for country. So we give thanks for the enduring relationship, connecting people, connecting country and ancestors, an unbreakable bond that's safely stewarded and protecting the land on which we gather today. It also stewards the waters and the skies, which we have looked after for millennia, for many, many, many generations. And so, on behalf of all the Indigenous peoples, including myself, I'm from the Cubby Cubby people on my father's side and the Gurang Gurang people on my mother's side, which is in southeast Queensland. And so, I just say, welcome and let's make peace together. Warajangaluwandunya. Let's make peace. Let's sit down together as one. Let's sit down together in peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ray. And I'm sorry we weren't able to see you, but thank you for that beautiful welcome to country.
Yeah, I'm still
So,
muted on my video, but that's all right. I can
you
see all you fellas. That's
unclick?
good.
Can you unclick your video?
It won't unclick.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
you have a great day.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we're on to the next one now. And you're introduced. Yeah, so I'm going to introduce the next footage, which is from some activities that have been happening in Sydney, which are really, really quite disturbing. And so our next footage is some activities that has been happening outside Sydney SEC plating footage that's been recorded a couple of weeks ago and also last night. And I've been given this brief introduction to read about what is happening there. So in response to the increasing pressure of the pro-war lobby, the armaments and weapons industry is proliferating across the Western world in small factories and large, embedded in local rural and urban communities. With the constant bombing of Gaza edging towards 2 years of pro-Palestinian protests, are focusing their attention on this industry that sells and supplies the hardware of war to the US and Israeli governments. In Australia, often small and relatively obscure, seemingly innocuous businesses are playing their part to process, produce, and or supply components and parts requirements of the expanding demand. In Sydney, Australia, a small business called SEC Plating is one of these. Peaceful pro-Palestinian protests have occurred outside the business over the last 6 months until, that is, the early hours of Friday morning, June 27th. Up until relatively recently, the right to protest has been sacrosanct in many Western democracies. Aggressive, draconian anti-protest laws are being introduced across the West. In the state of New South Wales, following a suspicious hoax incident involving a caravan containing explosives and a crude note listing Jewish institutions as targets, politicians jumped at the opportunity to introduce such laws in an emergency overnight session of Parliament. An effect is the empowering aggressive police behaviour towards demonstrators, which in the case of a small peaceful protest outside the SEC plating business in southern Belmore in Sydney, saw the brutal arrest of Hannah Thomas. She recently ran a strong campaign as the Greens candidate in the federal state of Grayndler against the sitting Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. Hannah faces the real likelihood of permanent blindness in her right eye, damage which occurred during her violent arrest. Her case has attracted attention around the world, and we're very, very privileged and lucky and grateful for these amazing filmmakers who are sharing this footage and what it's showing you, illustrating my points. So thank you, Eugene, if you can play the video. Jane, can you make sure, Mel, can you make sure that Jean can play the video, please? Is that working?
Yeah. Double click.
No, don't touch anything. Thanks for your patience, everybody.
Hello. We got a technical problem with the video. The video was beyond beyond 1080p resolution, so Zoom cannot play it. The video on sec, actually.
Are you playing the video now, Jean?
Give me another try, okay? Hello?
Hello?
I'll try again.
That's it. Thank you.
Jean, I think that the sound is not working.
Okay, I'll try again.
Perhaps he's doing that.
I stand before you in Belmore, not Berlin, not Baltimore. When I was growing up here in Belmore, walking to the Bulldogs football games, go the doggies, to enjoy a game of football on a Sunday afternoon, I don't think I could ever have imagined that in this same suburb of Sydney, a company would be manufacturing parts for F-35 jets. Shame. The same jets used to do this to Palestinian children. This was yesterday, and every single day, a similar story. Today, the father of these children will bury his world. And this keeps happening over and over and over again. In fact, despite denying any involvement, SEC Plating has been contracted since 2011 to produce specialised components for the global F-35 Joint Strike Fighter Scheme. As I made my way here to the picket a couple of weeks ago, I anticipated meeting some fellow teachers for what we thought would be a peaceful protest, as had taken place here previously. Imagine my utter dismay at being met with scenes of at least 10 police officers surrounding a fragile, terribly injured woman. They weren't consoling her. They weren't tending to her obvious facial injury. They wouldn't even allow anyone else to do so. I asked to simply cross the road to comfort her, and I was told that I would be arrested. I asked police officers if it was their daughter or their sister or their mother, if it would be acceptable that they left for half an hour waiting for an ambulance. And now Hannah may never regain sight in that eye, and that is on New South Wales Police. As I looked at Hannah standing alone, my heart shattered as I realised the gravity of what was unfolding. Where was I living? Could this possibly be Australia? We're trying to draw attention to a genocide, and companies complicit in that genocide will have you surrounded by police as if you are the criminal. Where police, instead of coming to our assistance in a time of need, obstruct that assistance and are in fact the cause of the suffering. The dystopian nature of that day is reflective of what we are seeing globally. As innocent people are slaughtered every day in Gaza, those demanding an end to the horror are the ones who are demonised.
Hello, that's the actual video we got. Hello?
Hi, we seem to have been problems with our connection there. And are we going to, Jean, will we be able to see the rest of that film clip?
Hello, actually, I reviewed the video, but that's actually it.
All right,
Okay.
I think we better move on. We're losing time.
Okay.
So thank you. And the video went on to describe the injuries, and in fact, Anna Thomas is in hospital. She's had 2 operations on her eye. She may lose eyesight in her eye, and very, very worrying and concerning, and completely unnecessary police brutality. So you can look forward to hearing more about this, and it's deeply distressing. So meanwhile, I think we will head over to Canberra now, and we have Tamara Brown, who is speaking about a project, an anti-apartheid project in Canberra. So let's transfer to Paul and Tamara, please.
Okay, Tamara. We are on. Can we start? Can we start? They've got us on.
Please start. Sorry to keep you waiting. Thank you.
They've put us on early. Tamara can just do the pre-Palestine stuff. Yeah, go for it.
Does now suit you, Paul? Is it good now, or do you want to do it a bit later?
I thought there was something from New Zealand happening first. 4 minutes.
No, you're on next if that's.
But
we can. I thought you want. We need anyway. We could do the next video if you want to come back.
yeah, that'd be good. Do the next video. That'd be great.
Okay, Jean, can we do the next video from New Zealand, please?
Which video, please? Can you
New Zealand, World Beyond War, Deborah Williams.
Okay, just a moment.
He honore he kororia ki te atua. He maunga rongo ki te whenua. He whakaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. Hanga e atua he nākau hou. Ki roto ki tēnā o mātou. Whakatongia tō wairua tapu. He awhina, he tohu I a mātou. He aku hoki I ngā mahi mō tēnei rā, Amine.
So, World Beyond War has 3 main objectives. The first is to promote a culture of peace. And to know more about this, we are organizing a peace art exhibition. There are some leaflets there you can take, and hopefully that you can participate. The second aim is going to be voiced by Bobby.
Hi, I'm Bobby Lang, and I'm involved in World Beyond War because we know that war is not the answer. It just causes so much damage, and part of World Beyond War is to promote non-violent communication, which is an approach to enhance communication, understanding and connection based on the principle of non-violence and humanistic psychology. It is not an attempt to end disagreements, but rather a way that aims to increase empathy and understanding to improve the overall quality of life, which is what we all want. And now, Deborah will complete.
My name's Deborah Williams, and I've been a member of World Beyond War for several years. And it was through Liz Remersfeld, who's the World Vice President, who's a fellow Quaker, that I was introduced to World Beyond War. I've done some courses with them, which I highly recommend. And this is the book that's available for people to read. It's free online if you wish to get a PDF from online. The third aim of World Beyond War is to demilitarize security. For my submission to the Defence Strategy Review in 2023, I wrote an article which is up on the website of World Beyond War under the heading, Why We Should Abolish the Military in New Zealand. That wasn't my title, David Swanson gave it that title, and he's one of the two founders of World Beyond War. There's also another book I recommend, written by Professor Richard Jackson of the Peace and Conflict Centre in Dunedin, and he published it just at about the same time, called Abolishing the Military, which he wrote with two PhD students, highly recommended book. So we would like to change security and change it not into military, change it to something more positive, and I would say welfare, not warfare.
Let's have an applause for all what you say. Thank you very much, everybody. And I would like to have one more.
Te aroha, te whakapono, me te rahima, e te te aroha, te whakapono, me te rahima, e te aroha. Give that aroha. Te whakapono, me te rahima, e ta 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 te.
All right, well done.
At the end of the video, thanks so much to Christchurch, to Waipano, to Namu, a new chapter in Aotearoa. And that was the beautiful peace spell, which was, I think it was presented to Christchurch City by Hiroshima. Correct me if I'm wrong. So now we'd like to go live back to Canberra to Tamara, Dr. Tamara Brown, who is speaking at a demonstration.
As a lot of these things, it's a that as many people will. So I will now introduce Tamara, who will talk about BDS. And listen well,
And let's all participate. Let's do everything we can, as Tamara will outline now. Everyone. I'm Tamara Kayali Brown. I'm a Palestinian Australian academic and activist with Canberra, Palestine and Climate Justice. And we're proud to be live streaming today around the world with World Beyond War's Peace Wave. So, we've all been watching with horror and horror day after day as we watch the scenes of suffering and massacre in Gaza. And we've been feeling helpless and despair, wondering what more we could do to help them. And we've been feeling despair watching our governments being complicit with the genocide, failing in their obligation to prevent it, and failing to do what the International Court of Justice says that they should be doing, which is stopping their financial, military, and technological support for Israel. But I'm here today to tell you not to despair, because while governments are failing, civil society is succeeding. Dock workers in France have refused to load weapons bound for Israel. Norway's largest pension fund has divested from 2 companies selling arms to Israel. And there have been over 250 boycott, divestment, and sanction wins in the US alone. This movement is only getting stronger, and you can be part of it. My message is a message of hope, because it is the biggest cause for hope. And I'm going to give you a concrete action right now that all of you can do today that will make a big difference for the people in Palestine. It's something that you can do anonymously if you want, or you can shout it loud and proud from the rooftops. It's something that's perfectly legal. And in fact, the International Court of Justice says that states have an obligation to do this. And it's something that Nelson Mandela has said was crucial in causing the fall of apartheid. You can boycott the companies that are complicit in genocide, occupation, and apartheid. You can make your home or workplace an apartheid-free zone. And to start your journey, I want you to do 2 things. First, I want you to get out your phones or your tablets. I'm ready, I'm waiting. All right, type into your internet search, Movement Guide to BDS. That stands for Boycott, Divestment, and Sanction. The Movement Guide to BDS. At the top of your search results should be bdsmovement.net, Guide to BDS Boycott. All right, and that's going to show you the companies listed by bdsmovement.net, our top priorities in the global boycott. And I want you to download, this is the second thing I want you to do now. Go to wherever you download your app and download an app called Boycat, B-O-Y-C-A-T. See a cute picture of that app tells you not only if a company is complicit with Israeli apartheid, but it also gives you ethical alternatives. Very handy. So it's boycat.io. And this is exciting because 12 cities in Spain have already become apartheid-free zones. And we can spread these zones like a wave around the world. Together, we can turn the tide. Together, we will win. I also want to give you a new rally cry that we can add to our repertoire when we're marching around. And it goes like this. I say, in Palestine we want to see, and you say, justice and equality. Let's give it a go. In Palestine we want to see.
Justice and equality.
We want to see.
Justice and equality.
Thank you so much, Tamara. I think we better move on to the program now because we're running out of time. But thank you, Dr. Tamara Brown. We really appreciate your work. Thank you, Paul.
And you'll see their guide.
So somebody's asked if these boycott links can be shared in the chat, so that would be really great. Paul or Tamara, if you can do that when you get a chance. So Jean, can we go to the next item, please, which is from the Justice and Peace Office of the Catholic Archdiocese, with a big thank you to Hayley Sharp.
All right. Moment, please.
And Melanie Morrison, if you're in the Zoom, we'll be coming to you after this to introduce the Sydney Peace Foundation video, if you can get ready.
What does peace look like to me?
What does peace look like to me?
What does peace look like to me?
What does peace look like to me? It actually looks a lot like justice.
Peace is being happy internally and externally, where there is no violence.
Peace is when all voices and people are heard and respected.
Peace is justice, equal rights, and equal chance and safety for all.
Peace is living in harmony with love and with respect.
Day to day, we're all in it together. We're all out there trying to be a community together and help our society grow together. So peace to me is all of us pulling together.
Although we live in a world where justice kind of carries most of us along, then I reckon there's room for a whole lot of security, a whole lot of community, which all creates a whole lot of peace.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee and I am part of the Justice and Peace Office Sydney, where we promote justice, peace, ecology and development. This year we are bringing people together for a Picnic for Peace, a community-led, interfaith, intergenerational event that aims to reclaim peace, hope and shared humanity in Sydney. As you've just heard, peace is so many different things to so many different people. It's safety, it's dignity, it's belonging, it's being together, and that is exactly what we are hoping to achieve through Picnic for Peace. It's more than just a gathering in a park, it's a gentle but powerful reclaiming of community, a call to come together, not in anger, but in unity and in resolve. Through shared food, live music, storytelling, reflection and open dialogue, we are building something lasting. We are rediscovering what it means to truly belong. We are remembering the legacy of peace marches, of justice campaigns, and local heroes before us who believed that Sydney could be a city of compassion. And we remind ourselves that we too can commit to peace. Sydney's first Picnic for Peace will be held on Sunday, August 31st at Wentworth Common on Wongal Country. Anyone and everyone is welcome. And for those who might be watching this beyond Sydney today, this is just the beginning. We are laying the foundation for an ongoing movement. We'll keep the conversation going through online webinars focused on peace building, justice and hope. By scanning the QR code on the screen now, you can find more information on how you can get involved and how you can sign up to be kept in the loop of what we've got coming. Again, this is not just a one-time thing, it's the beginning of a new way forward for Sydney. A call to those who feel disillusioned, disconnected or discouraged, and a reminder that peace is always possible when we walk toward it together. So whether you're a teacher, an activist, an artist, a stranger, this movement is for you. We invite you to bring your voice, your story, and your presence, to sit beside someone you've never met, to break bread, to sing, to hope again, because peace starts with people and it starts with you. So let's make it happen for our city, for our future, for each other. Sydney commits to peace.
Thank you so much. And I call on Melanie Morrison, who's going to introduce the latest happenings at the Sydney Peace Foundation.
Good morning. Good morning Sydney time anyway. Actually afternoon, 12:40. Can you hear me and see me? I just want to make sure that that's working. Yes? Yes? You can hear me and see me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Maybe you could be spotlighted. Can somebody spotlight Melanie, please?
Hang on.
Okay, great. Go. Thank you.
Hi, look, thank you for the invitation to speak here. I'd also like to acknowledge that I'm coming to you from Gadigal land in Sydney. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. And it's also the end of NAIDOC week. So, a time to really reflect on the struggle of Indigenous people throughout the world. So I am the director of the Sydney Peace Foundation. For those of you who aren't aware, the Sydney Peace Foundation was founded by Emeritus Professor Stuart Rees about 27 years ago this year. As part of the Peace and Conflict Studies at the University of Sydney. And just a very quick update on the status. So the Centre for Peace and Conflict Studies was abolished, I guess, in 2016 by the University of Sydney. It became the Department of Peace and Conflict Studies, which the university shut down in 2021. And just a month or so ago, the Sydney Peace Foundation was disengaged from the university after 27 years. So you might be forgiven for thinking that that Sydney University had a problem with peace education, but we will survive. We have a really strong legacy. I'll just go through very quickly. Laureates have included Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Professors Noam Chomsky and Joseph Stiglitz, Naomi Klein, Julian Burnside, Patrick Dodson, and movements like the Black Lives Matter movement, the Uluru Statement from the Heart, and the Me Too movement. And this year, for those of you who don't know, the Sydney Peace Prize laureate is eminent international jurist and former Human Rights Commissioner, Judge Navi Pillay. I will just read you a little bit about Navi Pillay and why she was selected. This is the jury citation. Navi Pillay, former UN High Commissioner for Human Rights and eminent international jurist, has been awarded the 2025 Sydney Peace Prize for a lifetime of advocating for fundamental human rights, peace with justice, and the rights of women, all of which serves as a clarion call in the face of a growing culture of impunity for war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide, and towards accountability and responsibility. And I think, given the genocides that are happening across the world, particularly that in Gaza, accountability and responsibility is absolutely key. The reason that Israel has been allowed to do what it has done over the many decades is because it is acting with complete impunity. Now, I don't know if you want to show the video now or maybe at the end of what I'm saying, just to make it a bit easier technically. So, we will survive where we, as an independent entity, we actually have a lot more freedom to do to be part of a movement and to really strengthen that movement. The university has continued as a partner, and we have a number of other fantastic partners who will continue to support us, like the City of Sydney, which has been amazing, the New South Wales Teachers Federation, and hopefully Western Sydney University. Oh, and Amnesty is another partner that will continue. So look, I just wanted to also thank Tamara. I don't know if you're still online, Tamara, for your rousing speech, and can absolutely endorse that the Boy Cat app. You know, we have to. That's the least we can do, is actually just adjust our shopping a little bit to support peace and justice across the world. I think we can all agree that, you know, we are now living in an atmosphere of moral decay. And what we need is courage and human solidarity and compassion. You know, peace is hard work. I think it's fantastic that there's this picnic going on, but we really need to impact on policymakers, and that's what we're going to move more in the direction of is peace advocacy. And I think recognizing Navi Pillay this year as a beacon of global justice and equality, there can be no better time to really to recognize someone of her caliber and impact. She'll be in Australia in November. I really hope that people will be able to attend her events. The Peace Prize lecture, for those of you in Sydney, is on the 6th of November, and the gala dinner, which is our fundraising dinner, will be on the 5th. Now, I'll just, before we move across to the Sydney Peace Prize video, I'll just read a quote from her acceptance speech, which really touched me and just shows her depth of compassion and selflessness. So she says, "This award, the Peace Prize, is not mine alone. It belongs to all those who across decades and continents have stood up against injustice."
Melanie, we're going to stop now.
Oh, okay. All right.
So sorry, we're running short of time.
Okay, all right. Anyway, she just says, "Who dares to believe in a better world?"
We've just really running short of time. So thank you so much, Melanie, and good luck with everything.
Okay,
and,
so all right, thank you. All right, bye-bye. Bye.
And now I'm going to hand over to Margie Pistorius, who has come specially to be in with us today from up north, and she has recently been convicted of protesting for peace and sentenced to 6 months suspended. Handing over to Margie, and I apologise, we're just running short of time.
Well, hello everybody in the Peace Wave. I just wanted to talk about the role of the weapons moving across the world from Australia. Of course, we know we just had information that the F-35 parts are going directly to Israel from Sydney Airport. We are interested in targets here in Australia. So we're also aware that we have that most of the going through the Germany. I'm going to mute that. So we know that they're going through Germany and through the US. And I just want to have a quick look at a case study for Germany, which is the Rheinmetall Corporation. And the Rheinmetall Corporation has a factory in Maryborough in Queensland. There it's making 400 155mm artillery shells every week. And we also have Australian buying those artillery shells from South Africa, Rheinmetall South Africa. And so basically what you have is the weapons companies across the world sort of doing different deals to avoid the international humanitarian law. So it's a time that maybe the international humanitarian law leads to look at the transport of weapons through third-party countries, which is actually also illegal. We just want you to know that, you know, here in Australia, the government is basically paying these international companies a lot of money to set up. So Rheinmetall was given $45 million in subsidies, and basically they're exporting the entire set of bombs every week to Germany. So if you want an export business and you want to get some help, the best thing is to set up an artillery shells business, and you can get up to 45 million free subsidies. So I don't think if you were doing a healthy project, you probably wouldn't get 45 billion in subsidies. 45 million. But that 45 million is, of course, part of 50 billion in facilitation and subsidies that they're giving the entire industry in Australia per year at the moment. So just thinking about that, Australia buys its artillery shells from South Africa, and then it sells all the ones it's creating at the new factory in Maryborough to Germany. And then Germany presumably refills its stockpiles after having transferred its artillery shells to Ukraine and Israel. So we know that Germany and the US are the major armors of the genocide. And so we're going to start a campaign. Well, it's not starting, we're in the middle of one, but we're going to pump it up, and it's called Stop Arming Genocide, or No Weapons for Genocide. And there's a lot of local groups. You've already seen one of those local groups that will probably be part of that. And we'll be looking to synchronize our actions to some extent. So if you want to join us, get in contact with us at Wage Peace, and we will look at ways of stop arming this genocide and stop arming the next genocide. So that's the goal.
Thanks, Margie. And this is really important work. This is something that is going to affect all of us. But the really important thing for us to note as World Beyond War is that Margie, together with David Bradbury, who's going to appear later, were both awarded Peace Prizes last year by World Beyond War. And we hope that encourages Margie to stay out of jail if she can. Now, let me introduce Peter Miller Robinson and his Margaret Walters, two musos from Sydney. And we've been invited to have as much music as we can, and they are some of the most dedicated peace musos that we have. And we'll hand over to them now. They're just getting themselves lined up here.
Turn yours off.
All right. Oh, it's not. It's off now. Okay, where are you? I've lost you. Oh, there you are. So we're just going to remove that spotlight. Spotlight this one.
A peace wave to everyone. Not everyone can get involved in direct action, but this song suggests that you only need somewhere to begin to effect change and hope in this world. And we've truncated the song a little. People say to me, oh, you've got to be crazy. How can you sing in times like these? Don't you read the news? Don't you know the score? How can you sing when so many others grieve? People say to me, what kind of fool believes that a song can make a difference in the end? By way of a reply, I say a fool such as I, who sees a song as somewhere to begin. A song is somewhere to begin, the search for something worth believing in. If changes are to come, there are things that must be done, and a song is somewhere to begin. A song is somewhere to begin, the search for something worth believing in. If changes are to come, there are things that must be done, and a song is somewhere, and a dream is somewhere, and love is somewhere to begin. A song by Tia Ritchie.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh, can you hear me okay?
Okay, you're on.
Thank you so much, Margaret and Peter, for that beautiful song. So I think it would be a really good time now to show the Greenpeace footage of its 40th anniversary of the Rainbow Warrior. Jean, are you able to show that now, please?
In the 1980s, the Greenpeace flagship Rainbow Warrior was prominent in protesting the French government's nuclear weapons testing in the Pacific. Opposition to this nuclear testing grew so strong that French Secret Service agents planted explosives on the Rainbow Warrior in Auckland Harbour, sinking the ship and killing onboard photographer Fernando Pereira. But they couldn't sink a rainbow. The bombing galvanized a nation and our movement. Greenpeace grew stronger, and the Rainbow Warrior became more than a ship. It became a symbol of resistance in action over the next 40 years. Resistance, persistence, and courage. This is how we prevail against those who would plunder our precious planet. Because this courage, it's contagious. In 2025, Greenpeace is under attack again, this time by big oil and the oligarchs, while the New Zealand government is waging a war on nature. But in 40 years, we've shown that while there's a rainbow, there's hope. And with you by our side, we will resist.
That's it.
Sorry, we seem to have lost that, but if you can look up it's the 40th anniversary of the bombing of the Rainbow Warrior, and there's some really great footage on that Greenpeace Aotearoa has been showing. Our next contribution is from a protest at the US consulate in Melbourne. Just a short by the protest vigil by the Quakers in Melbourne. Jean, are you able to show that, please?
there we have it.
Yes. So that was a silent vigil. Quakers have been doing that for many years. I don't know if we've got time now for some footage we have for the David Bradbury film. Also, Alison, would you like to introduce that? David is another Peace Prize awardee from last year by World Beyond War, and he has made a telling film about the arms industry, which includes Margie Pistorius, who you just saw. And he has made a selection of the footage from that, together with some singers from Garden Island. And we'd like to see those now. Thanks, David. I'm just aware that we might be running out of time. So she says we can. Oh, that's okay.
The Rheinmetall factory is making boxes, which are a type of armoured vehicle, weaponised armoured vehicle. They're making about 200 for the Australian Defence Force, and now they've got $1 billion to make for the German government as well.
So I went to the Rheinmetall factory and I had some wheat paste and some A4 sheets of paper, and those sheets of paper had images of people who had died as a result of the Indonesian military, and so I pasted them up on the near the entrance to this factory.
They're a weaponised armoured vehicle. They're used for troop transports, but they're also weaponised with various types of small cannons, which can actually be used to knock down buildings and threaten people, threaten communities.
And with the war in Gaza continuing uninterrupted, the Israeli Prime Minister taking aim.
That objective, the destruction of Hamas,
נוציא מתוכם את אנשי החמאס ונכניס אליהם כוחות אחרים אשר יאפשרו שלטון אחר שגם מאיים על החמאס.
Looks like as many as 40, if not 45 killed. The Israeli army is saying, of course, that it was a precision strike.
in the southern city of Rafah. 1 million people who had been sheltering there now displaced again.
We're concerned about Rheinmetall in Queensland because Rheinmetall not only has this massive factory at Redbank, which was subsidised by the government, but it's also they've also subsidised a huge munitions factory at Maryborough, and that munitions factory is making 155mm shells, which are really the weapon of choice. They're the ones you see the Israelis signing in Israel. They're the munition of choice to bomb these communities in Gaza.
people killed across Gaza in the last 24 hours, the war-weary waiting with the world for a response from Hamas, the next step towards a ceasefire.
Are continuing to review one shipment that President Biden has talked about with regard to 2,000-pound bombs because of our concerns about their use in a densely populated area.
Less known is that we have the enemies within, which are mostly radical people that are trying to pull Israel into an endless war. And they're grabbing Prime Minister Netanyahu by the you-know-where.
Gantz's decision to leave. I'm not sure that Prime Minister Netanyahu was willing.
As political wrangling continues, on the ground, at least 8 dead in airstrikes in central Gaza, including 3 children.
At some point, I was grabbed and dragged away from the entrance, across the car park. Afterwards, the cops turned up.
Saying Hamas is an idea, Hamas is a political party. It is rooted in the hearts of people. Whoever thinks we can eliminate Hamas is mistaken. On the ground in Gaza, Israeli tanks and troops have advanced deeper into Rafah. 8 Palestinians were reported killed in the city. Gaza, Israeli tanks and troops have advanced.
And that's the ones we see being used in Gaza to destroy the city, to kill the people, to bomb the tents in Rafah. That's the munition of choice, the 155mm shell. 40 to 50 billion of Australian taxpayers' money is being used to facilitate the weapons industry. So it's moving into the weapons corporations. It's coming out of the fossil fuels industry into the weapons corporations and then out to harm people throughout the world.
I noticed there were some people walking towards the building, so I started telling him that Rheinmetall is arming the Indonesian military, suggesting that they quit their jobs.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has been invited to address both houses of the US Congress in the coming weeks, enraging some, including Democrat Senator Bernie Sanders, who called Mr. Netanyahu a war criminal.
Well, one copper gave us a lecture about how they're going after criminal activity, which I couldn't understand at the time, because they seem to be doing the opposite. They charged me, not any of the people who assaulted me. They're not investigating Rheinmetall for war crimes, for breaching international law.
Thank you, everybody. And thanks from me too. Thanks, Liz. And we're sorry that we had to cut it short, but there's lots more. Wait for next year.
Thank you, Liz and Alison. We're gonna wait for more in Peace Wave, and I think Geoff is raising his hand.
Yes, but is there time for Jeff to say something?
Just to have it very quick, Jeff, is it okay? Yeah, if you can unmute and have your contribution for for a short, so we can move also to our next speakers. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, you can speak now.
Oh, well, I was actually waving, didn't have my hand up, but I've been living in Gimoy, Cairns, far north Queensland, and we've had a vigil for Palestine every second Friday for the last almost 2 years. That's been wonderful. Also to draw people's attention to a tungsten mine near Gimoy, Cairns, which has been supplying tungsten to a US company, Elmec Technologies, that produce tungsten pellets to Elbit Systems, who produce fragmentation bombs. So there's just one more link of Australia to the genocide in Palestine. Thank you for a wonderful series of videos and interviews.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for all your solidarity there in Australia. Later on, we will have also in our Part 6, our Middle East and North Africa contribution for this peace wave as well. If you would like to join in and join the voices in MENA, please, I also encourage to all our viewers to join in that segment. It will be a very powerful segment, also prepared by the women on the ground in those conflict areas in Middle East. To move on to the next segment, first of all, thank you, Liz and Alison, for preparing the first half of Western Pacific. Thank you for showcasing us what's happening in that side of the world in Pacific. As you can see, it's very near to my hometown as well in the Philippines. We have been experiencing several issues in Pacific, and one of the initiative that's been doing by Pacific Peace Network and World Beyond War is the declare neutrality and prevent a US-China war. So this is a solidarity campaign by the peoples of the Pacific and Pacific Rim nations. So there are lots of countries, civil society organizations, people working on this neutrality, and would like to just share with you this petition presented by Bivan from IPAN. Let me just share my video.
I'm speaking from the land of the Gadigal people in Sydney who have never ceded their land that I'm standing on. We in the Pacific and Pacific Rim countries have geographical and political commonalities. We are encircled by and have a border with the vast blue Pacific Peaceful Ocean, and we are also under pressure to massively increase our military spending. This pressure comes from the United States, whose Defence Secretary, Peter Hegseth, at the recent Singapore Defence Summit, declared that the US expects its allies in this region to increase their defence spending to 5% of their GDP. His justification was a possible imminent threat posed by China. He emphasised how the US is reorienting towards deterring aggression by China and made it clear that Donald Trump's administration defence strategy revolves around stifling the rise of China. The question which we, the people of the Pacific and Pacific Rim countries, are asking is, why do we have to respond to this demand by the United States? We are not threatened by China. Where is the dire urgency which demands such a huge distortion of our public spending on the military and at the expense of urgent social needs? The indications are that the United States is preparing for war against China, but cannot wage such a war from the west coast of the USA. It needs military bases, port facilities, airfields in the countries on the west side of the Pacific Rim. Without these bases, without the backing of the military forces, munitions, and manufacturing capabilities of the Pacific Rim countries, the United States cannot launch and sustain a war against China. This dependency gives our countries enormous preventative power. If we unite together and our countries refuse to be involved in such a war and adopt a neutral position, it is in response to the urgency of the situation we face that the Pacific Peace Network, with representatives from Pacific Rim countries and the assistance of World Beyond War, has developed this solidarity campaign, which is being launched today at this webinar. The campaign enables the peoples of each country in the Pacific Rim to say no to such a war and no to an increase in military spending for it, and to do this through a common petition, which is a call on our governments, and it reads as follows: for sustainable peace and the survival of our peoples and environment, we urge you, the government, to refuse to join military preparations for a US-China war, to declare you will not fight in a US-China war, to declare neutrality should such a war break out, and not allow your territory or waters to be used in such a war, including the collection and relay of military intelligence, sales of weapons, and hosting combatant troops and facilities. Now, this common petition can be accessed on the World Beyond War website, and the details are in the chat. Later this year, the petitions will be presented to our respective governments, and we hope to the United Nations General Assembly. Look, we are seeking tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of signatures for this campaign. This is our opportunity to tell our governments we do not want this war and we want everything done to prevent it.
Thank you, Bivan, for that. Hopefully, you've been signed the petition of declaring neutrality. It's available in the website of World Beyond War, and we're gonna also paste that petition in our chat box here. It's ongoing, and we're collecting thousands of signatures for that. and we'll be glad to have your names in that. For our next speaker, we just have to a little bit far away. It will be coming from Europe to express some solidarity to the Pacific people. As Bevad said, the call for neutrality is not only for the people of the Pacific, but it's a call for global it's a global call for all of us to support this petition. And just to share about some resources or information on how can we access more information about peace, and how to and how can we have more resources or information. I'm sorry, I repeated myself in that. But we will have Norbert from Better Info. I think he can explain more about Better Info, and also his support for neutrality. So Norbert, if you're here, we'd like to have you on the floor.
Yes, please. Hello. Hi, Michelle. Dear peace friends from around the world. I'm Norbert from Austria, a physician and internet activist, and I'm going to tell you about Better World Info, which is a unique platform for peace, and we are very open for collaboration. I am elaborating on this by a little presentation, if I may, and I hope you can see it now. Are we fine? Can you share it?
Yep, we can see your screen right now.
Great. So let's get rid of that. Better World Info is for people who want to make this world a better place. It's beyond peace, but peace is a huge segment of it. So if you have a look at the website, you see that we encompass a lot of topics. And in other words, Better World Info is an information hub for educational and future topics such as peace, the environment, human rights, one world, and social justice. It's a non-profit participatory platform for information and networking for people who want to make our world a little better. And we offer a comprehensive internet directory with over 700,000 handpicked links on global topics in German and English. It's unique, it's collaborative, our service is free, open, and there are no ads. And I like to compare it to a dynamic Google directory for engaged citizens and global NGOs. And we are similar to a Wikipedia for a better world and focus on links. So we certainly differ from those products, and we are open for active citizens. For instance, we have Peace Guide, just to show you a little image here. We have those links on peace itself, like news, nonviolence, movements, objectors, peace building, education, you name it. We have a huge segment on nuclear weapons, which can almost compete with the big platforms. And you see, we separate them by dangers, by country, by info, and solutions, which are important, of course. And since we are in a Western Pacific segment of Southeast Asia, I just want to highlight those issues very briefly. The ICANN, TPNW, NPT, nuclear weapon-free zones, China-Taiwan dispute, South China Sea, AUKUS, Kashmir, Iran, neutrality and common security, very important concepts. Fukushima, nuclear testing, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and importantly, big segments on human rights and climate. There is also a component, a guide on military, again with loads of links. Another guide on conflict regions, again with loads of links. To give you an example regarding the ongoing war in Gaza, we collected over 25,000 resources for the international peace community and, of course, politicians to learn from. And here is just a brief overview of what you can see there. So I think this is very important to pass on, to share, and let people know. Otherwise, we are just, everybody is doing its own research, time-consuming, etc. So that can be streamlined. I'm moving fast because I realize many other people want to say something. So what you can do is check out the website. I invite you to use the resource, share it, use our social media, and importantly, help improve Better World Info. You can add links from quality sources. You can write guides, informative texts on important topics you just mentioned. You can give feedback. And again, experts, peace experts are most welcome to participate. As a summary, as we all know, the peace movement should unite, support one another, and harness synergy. I'm glad that this can be done under the umbrella of the International Peace Bureau and World Beyond War. But of course, there are many others to consider. I want to invite you to use Better World Info too, apart from those resources mentioned above. Since Better World Info is a central information hub for peace and other important issues, all of which are interconnected. And my call for action is let's collaborate. And thereby, I'm happy to yield the floor. Unless you have questions, of course.
Thank you, Norbert. Of course, if you can also put in the chat box the website of Better Info for others to connect with you, or your email address just in case they have questions, then we'll be happy to
Okay.
connect with you.
Betterworld.info, but I put it in the chat as well. Thank you, Michelle.
Okay. Thank you, Norbert, for being with us and being here so early. It's like 5:30 in Europe time. So thank you, and I'd like to emphasize the message of solidarity. This part of solidarity and connecting with each other. This is what the Peace Wave is all about as well, connecting, emphasizing what we can do together, and of course sharing some resources. And I would like to acknowledge as well that this Peace Wave, aside from IPB and World Beyond War, we also have the Stop the War Coalition Philippines, who are helping us to coordinate and to make this peace wave happen, also the GenCQ. And without further ado, I would like to call our next speaker, coming from Pacific Islands of Golgona in Colombia. We're very, very honored to have you here as well, from World Beyond War, to speak about what's happening in that island in Pacific, a small island of Pacific in Golgona. So here with us is Laura Benitez from World Beyond War. Laura, the floor is yours.
Thank you, guys. Hello, everyone around the world. So it's an honor to be here with you guys in this special day. My name is Laura Benitez from Colombia, and I'm a biologist. And I am part of the group called Unidos por Gorgona, which is mean Together for Gorgona Island. This island is located in the southwest of the Colombian Pacific. And from
Thank you, Laura. I'm gonna play the documentary.
Thank you.
La gorgona es como el espíritu de nosotros a la hora de navegar, para los pescadores, la guía. Por eso se llamó en su momento la misteriosa, porque se desaparece y aparece al navegante, porque es donde se toman los vientos para poder navegar.
El Parque Nacional Natural Gorgona ha sido un sitio donde se ha desarrollado la investigación científica desde hace mucho tiempo atrás, donde muchos investigadores han venido aquí a investigar no solamente las ballenas, sino a las aves, a las tortugas, a los insectos, a los anfibios. Gorgona se convierte en un laboratorio viviente donde se puede estudiar la vida misma y la conocemos como la Isla Ciencia.
Proteger Gorgona es proteger la vida misma y el recuerdo mismo de lo que somos y estamos hechos, que es de un tejido vivo que respira y siente con el planeta Tierra.
Pero algo tiene Gorgona que es importante inclusive para el mundo, porque ¿quién quita que Gorgona sea el equilibrio de todo este corredor? ¿Por qué creen que las ballenas vienen hasta acá a concebir y a tener sus hijos? Entonces nos une inclusive con el mundo.
Allá quieren construir un muelle, que es un exabrupto en un parque en recuperación. Si usted va en un parque de recreación no necesita un muelle. Pero además es un muelle para las lanchas militares, ahí no entraría una lancha civil. Porque en ninguna parte he visto que hay una lancha militar y al otro lado está la lancha de los civiles.
Vemos con mucha preocupación la construcción de la subestación de guardacostas en la isla Gorgona, sus potenciales impactos ambientales. Esta construcción incluye varias obras, entre esas un tanque de almacenamiento de alrededor de 7.000 galones de combustible, una torre con un radar
que podría tener un potencial impacto al comportamiento y fisiología de las comunidades de murciélagos, y una subestación de guardacostas que alojará cerca de 28 personas de la Armada Nacional. El muelle, que tendría 163 metros de largo con aproximadamente 100 pilotes que clavarían en el lecho marino, tendrían sin duda un impacto auditivo sobre las especies marinas que allí habitan.
No tuvieron en cuenta el impacto a la diversidad, no tuvieron en cuenta el impacto a las ballenas, a los delfines, a las tortugas marinas y a otros organismos de hábitos marinos que allí habitan.
Para capturar lanchas del narcotráfico es la explicación que ellos dan afuera. No es que allá nos estigmatizan, es que está la droga. Los narcotraficantes de poder no viven en el Pacífico. Nosotros lo que colocamos son los muertos. Lo que nosotros estamos convencidos es que hacer una subestación en Gorgona lo que va a aumentar es mucho más el conflicto. El conflicto empieza a sentirse con fuerza acá cuando hacen las estaciones de los militares, pero también aparece el narcotráfico en todo su esplendor.
Hoy no estamos en esta lucha contra las drogas que ya bien hemos visto que es una lucha totalmente ineficaz y fracasada. Entonces ya sabemos que si no es eficiente, ¿por qué vamos a ir a perturbar una isla que está llena de vida, que se va a ver perjudicada en todo lo que es su esencia con las comunidades y con las demás especies silvestres que la habitan?
Nosotros queremos decirle al pueblo norteamericano que conozcan nuestras realidades, que escuchen nuestras voces, que no queremos más presencia militar. Ya en el Pacífico, en el litoral, en todos los pueblos hay militar. Y que van a hacer una subestación con los recursos de ellos que no se necesita. Y creemos que debe haber una reflexión en el alto gobierno frente a esa decisión. Y por eso le pedimos al pueblo norteamericano que nos escuche, ya que los gobiernos no nos escuchan, que nos escuchen ellos para que no coloquen sus recursos.
Pescar es vida, como es un arte de generación en generación, de abuelo, padre, hijo, es el sentir del territorio, es su arte que ha ido ejerciendo en el transcurrir del tiempo, basado en una comunidad netamente pesquera y conchera. Se dedica a la extracción de la piangua y a la pesca artesanal, pesca ancestral. Toda la comunidad depende económicamente de esa pesca.
La gente sale a pescar y respeta la distancia que Parque impuso de pescar a una distancia de Gorgona para que allí se pueda recuperar la especie y siga habiendo pescado por muchos años.
Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Llegó una época, pues salían los pescadores. Supuestamente no habían demarcaciones del área donde se podía trabajar, pues entonces la gente tiraba los espineles por ahí. Venían los del parque, llegaban y comenzaban pues a levantarle el espinel, a llevárselo. Ellos ¿qué hacían? Les quemaban los espineles, lo regalaban, otros los vendían y lo mandaban a los pobres pescadores acá con las manos vacías. Nosotros tenemos grandes preocupaciones. Cuando ya ellos comienzan a ejercer, tememos que el acuerdo se los puede caer, porque nosotros presentimos que lo pueden violar nuestro trabajo, lo pueden restringir.
Hablando con las palabras de mi abuela, quitarnos Gorgona como quitarnos el ombligo. Y el ombligo, ella decía que era como el punto vital de la vida, porque eso nos amarra con el territorio.
Que Gorgona por ahora está pasando un terrible momento, ¿sí? Que para nosotros los jóvenes de Guapi es algo pues muy feo porque nos están quitando algo que está siendo parte de nuestro corazón. Están queriendo construir algo que allá no va. Nos parece algo como muy incoherente, ¿sí? Quitarnos algo que nos hace parte a nosotros y que Gorgona para ellos no tiene nada que ver.
Cuando colocaron la base militar acá, fue un desastre. Violaciones, embarazo, temprana edad. Nosotros teníamos un espacio donde hacemos pues las composteras, la tierra y todo. Y a veces me tocó llegar y pelear para sacarle niñas a esos muchachos, para quitarle niñas de ahí, niñas que tenían, con los uniformes, con los bolsos. La violencia basada en género está estructurada en el país, de tal manera que donde uno va como mujer, siente que lo están violentando y se siente violentada. Y pensarlo desde ayer, me siento vulnerada.
Esto es Gorgona, vivienda, cultura. No merece guerra, no merece que esté rodeada de militares. Gorgona merece ser vivienda, comunidad, paz, amor. Gorgona es como para ir a disfrutar la naturaleza, sí, porque la naturaleza es como algo súper feliz, que a uno, si usted está triste, lo llena de alegría. El ruido de las olas, de los animales, las ballenas cuando cantan.
Las ballenas jorobadas que llegan aquí al Pacífico colombiano migran alrededor de 11.000 kilómetros desde la península antártica y los canales patagónicos chilenos y vienen aquí a reproducirse. Esta isla es un santuario para las ballenas jorobadas, pues aquí es uno de los únicos sitios en Latinoamérica y de los pocos que hay donde no se permite el avistamiento turístico desde embarcación. ¿Qué quiere decir? Que no se permite el seguimiento a las ballenas. Hace muchos años se propuso que este lugar fuera un sitio de descanso para las ballenas jorobadas después de la migración desde la Antártica y antes de salir de nuevo a las zonas de alimentación. Así que lo convierte en un sitio muy especial donde nadie las puede molestar, donde viven tranquilas, donde se acercan mucho a la playa, tanto que cuando estás durmiendo aquí en Gorgona, descansando, las puedes escuchar mientras saltan, mientras están en sus cortejos de apareamiento.
Gorgona no es solo una isla. Gorgona tiene un significado para nosotros más allá de ser una isla. La isla es riqueza, la isla es alegría, es biodiversidad. La isla es la expresión del pueblo de Colombia afroindígena. Por eso nuestra relación espiritual. Eso es Gorgona. Es una isla hermosísima que no necesita la presencia militar. Sí, es una isla que se debe seguir recuperando para la ciencia, para que las futuras generaciones conozcan, puedan avanzar en estudios. Toda la riqueza que existe en el Pacífico usted la puede encontrar en la Gorgona de forma resumida.
La hemos tenido tan cerca, Gorgona, y es nuestra, por obligamiento, por territorialidad, por encadenamiento, por trabajo colectivo. Entonces, otras personas de ahora nos las han manejado. Creo que hoy nos las estén quitando casi totalmente, porque cuando la afectan a ellas, nos están quitando, nos están partiendo esos lazos, pero sí es necesario recuperemos, digamos, ese potencial que tenemos y que lo hagamos como se debe ser.
Alguna protesta bien intencionada que tiene que ver con la ecología y con el mar, pero otras interesadas en que no tengamos un radar para vigilar las embarcaciones que se van.
La postura de la vicepresidenta frente al proyecto que se ha querido hacer en Islas Gorgonas es que prima el derecho de las comunidades.
Entonces, cuando nos unimos comunidades, nos unimos también la comunidad científica, se unen también la comunidad turística, ¿sí? Gorgona también es un lugar donde se hace buceo porque es increíble lo que se puede ver debajo del mar. La vida marina es algo que nos enseña profundamente de dónde venimos. El Frente del Turismo también viene aquí a decir, bueno, podemos hacer algo distinto. Esto es un territorio que debe de estar de la mano directamente de las comunidades.
Pues yo le propongo al gobierno nacional y a los aportes internacionales que miren las comunidades que tenemos alrededor de la isla y que llegan hasta ella para que miren las necesidades que tenemos en cuanto a educación, salud, energía, agua potable. Tenemos tantas necesidades que con esos recursos que van a implementar allá para esa construcción, nosotros algunas de estas necesidades vamos a resolver.
Que sea la gobernanza colectiva y los acuerdos colectivos los que determinen el accionar de la fuerza pública y no al revés, que sea el accionar de la fuerza pública los que determinan las relaciones sociales entre el Estado y las comunidades. Y para eso, digamos, ahí hay una posición firme del gobierno que hasta que no lleguemos a un acuerdo el proyecto no va a avanzar.
Como científica, como mujer, como ciudadana colombiana, estoy en desacuerdo con la construcción militar en el Parque Nacional Natural Gorgona.
No estoy de acuerdo porque nosotros presentimos que lo pueden violar nuestro trabajo, lo pueden restringir.
Es el desequilibrio del territorio.
No a una subestación de guardacostas en Gorgona. No a la guerra.
No, señor. No a la construcción de una estación de guardacosta ni una base militar en la isla Gorgona.
No y no. Esa es la voz de la comunidad.
La Gorgona, paraíso terrenal. La Gorgona, territorio ancestral. Y la vida que allá vive nunca la podrá encontrar. La Gorgona está en peligro. La Gorgona hay que salvar. La Gorgona está en peligro. La Gorgona hay que salvar.
I think, Laura, any final comment from the video? Thank you for the wonderful documentary. I know I think it's one of important thing to highlight, aside from social destruction of military bases, it's also highly impacting the biodiversity and the natural resources. And we see that in Japan, we see it in other parts of Pacific Islands. And thank you for showing what's happening in Colombia and that Pacific Island in there. So any final comment from you, Lara?
Yeah, thank you. Just a final comment that thank you very much to invite me to be part of this day and spread out the information, the situation that is happening here. And Gorgona is also part of a big corridor in this part of the Pacific, because there are another islands that United States wants to take it as like Galapagos, Malpelo, Cocos, and yeah, so we are really fighting, and we hope to have a good final, but we are still in a in a long way to get it, but anyway, we are here. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Laura, and we stand with you in solidarity. I know it's very late in Colombia right now, so thank you for staying with us and being part of Pacific segment and showcase what's happening in there. And just to
Just to say, sorry, I forgot to say something. If you want to know more, you can follow us in Instagram, Unidos por Gorgona in Spanish. I will send in the chat.
Thank you. That will be very helpful, Laura. Please send us in the main chat so we can follow you and we can support your advocacy. We've been live in all over the world right now, and we also thank all the online viewers that staying tuned with us in our social media platform. So thank you for watching us in the live stream as well, and for those who are here in Zoom call. And just to wrap up for this segment, I would like to call Cora Pabros, our co-president, just to give some reflection about Western Pacific. Tita Cora, are you here?
Yes, thank you, Michelle, and I'd like to really thank the really highly informative and insightful presentations and talks that we have had so far. We have begun from Hawaii, this morning, and we moved on to Aotearoa and New Zealand. This particular region is witness to people's situation. As you've said, they've shared the impact of the presence of militarization policies. And I think they not only shared that, but they also shared their aspirations and their resistance. It is important to emphasize that, sharing of resistance and aspirations. And in a way, trying to fight back, which is not really easy. And I think that this webinar, this Peace Wave is trying to provide the space and the platform to show our connectedness. This is the big Pacific that waters that connect us all. And I'm glad that our sisters, our friends from Colombia, despite their distance, it's actually the opposite from this second region, have actually shown, the similarities in a way, but also the uniqueness of the situation and their struggle. So I would say that as we move on to the next region, we move on to Northeast Asia, I hope that we will all continue to bear witness to all this and to try to make internationalize our struggle. That has been the way we're trying to do with Okinawa, Jeju Island, and other movements in the Pacific. It is very important, especially at this point when there is so much, so much policies of government that is trying to stop us from really moving forward with our resistance. So I would close with saying that this is not only a struggle against the imperialist war machine, but also it is a struggle for life. I think that that is the primary consideration that we have to remember. That, you know, no matter where this brings us, we have been witness to many experiences all over the world, you know, of not only really winning victories, but even if we fail, there is always there are always lessons learned. So this is, you know, I think a very important segment, you know, and if you observe, there's always a mention about these places of militarization always happens in indigenous lands and waters. So, you know, the question about colonization and imperialism, and, you know, is something that we have to look into, and that in a way would guide us. This peace wave is actually dedicated to, you know, trying to highlight the importance of nuclear abolition, which points to the fact that when we struggle against nuclear weapons, we're not only struggling against it, but we're struggling against the structures and the dimensions and the policies that make nuclear weapons possible. So I think that's where we are at, and I hope that this part of the webinar really inspired all of us to move on. I hope you will continue to be with us around the world. We're going to be in this for the next another 18 hours or 20 hours, I guess. So thank you so much, Michelle, and thanks everyone for this wonderful segment of our Peace Wave.
Thank you, Miss Cora. I call her Tita Cora, sign of our respect in the Philippines, and thank you for being with us today. She's our co-president in IPB, and she's staying tuned from part 1. So I hope everyone will stay with us as well until as much as you can. And later on, of course, if you want to watch the other parts of Peace Wave, you can always check IPB YouTube channels, Facebook channels, and also World Beyond War, Facebook and YouTube. We are streaming it right now, and will be there even after this peace wave. So I think we're gonna pass the next wave to Northeastern Asia, and as Tita Cora said, it's just right in point. This year is also the 80th year anniversary of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and this year as one of the theme of the Peace Wave is about nuclear abolishment and remembering the Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and to say to never again this war and this catastrophe to happen. So I'm gonna pass the peace wave to part 3. So I'm just gonna have to stop the streaming right now and stop the recording, and I'm gonna pass it to part 3. And I think the next moderator is here now, Joseph. So we'll just have some technical technical setup, and then we're gonna have you. Thank you, Norbert. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, all the contributors for this part. And we're gonna see you on part 3. Yes, thank you, Jean. Yes, you can stop now.